Hey, it's Stacy here, and welcome to the Freedom from Self-Doubt 5-Day Challenge. Today is day 1. We're going to go through a very mini lesson followed by a worksheet that will challenge you to take action to get unstuck and boost your confidence. Okay, so we're talking about self-doubt, and we need to understand what that message is. What does this self-doubt sound like for you? It can be multiple messages on lots of different things in life, but for example, it might be, I can't make a big change. It's too difficult. Why did I say that? I'm so stupid. If I write this, no one's going to think it's any good. Yep, you've got a gremlin. That's that negative self-talk message that replays in your head, so much so that you begin to believe it. Let's be a little bit deeper here because it's really important to understand, where does it come from? It might go back as far as childhood. It might be messaging that you got from one of your parents or someone in your life growing up, or it might come from an event that played out in the last year or so. For example, I have a client who had this award-winning position. She was a senior leader, high visibility. She was just so good at it. And she stepped away from that to raise her children and to start a consulting company. And now she wants to get back into that workplace, but she's had a lot of struggle connecting to a position and figuring out what does she want to do and how to get it. And so her gremlin has become, you're a failure. You're not good enough anymore. So take this back to, when did it begin? It's important to understand that point of origin. And then take a look at what conditions are reinforcing it. Do you have any negative habits? Are you spending time with naysayers and bad company who help you to believe it? Or maybe you're dwelling on an epic fail, by your definition, that you haven't recovered from yet. And here's a weird question that I always ask. But how does having this gremlin actually help you? Well, it's interesting because we as humans, we only engage in behavior for which we perceive that the benefit is greater than the cost on some level. So oftentimes these gremlins, you have these messages and you believe them because in some way it protects you. It protects you from being vulnerable to further failure. It protects you from putting yourself out there past your comfort zone. It creates a safety net in a way. And it's important for you to recognize that so you can say, yep, nope, I don't need that. It's okay. I can put myself out there. Here's the deal. Gremlins are not true. They are most often rooted in fear. And what is fear? False evidence appearing real. These are messages that are not part of your truth. Okay, now what are we going to do about these? Awareness. You can't do anything about what you are not aware of. When you're hearing this message, this gremlin of self-doubt, write it down. Then draw the gremlin, add a little illustration to it. Maybe if you have a shredder handy, you can pop it through that, crumple it up, throw it out the door, tell that gremlin you're sending it on a cold vacation. What you're doing is not just saying, oh, okay, I hear you, gremlin, and you're going to think differently. That's like the light switch approach. But instead, you're reinforcing this change through behavior. That's why you're doing something different. And all of this effort is going towards making space to replace the negative thoughts with your positive truth. I'll give you a quick example here. You may have seen this one before. It's such a good one. So the gremlin could be, stay quiet. They're going to find out you're not good enough. Well, on the right-hand side of this piece of paper, I want you to make a list of the truth, the evidence. Okay? For example, my team asked me to lead the presentation. I get consistent positive feedback from customers. I was chosen to be on the steering team committee. I'm really good at solving complex problems. My performance eval has always been solid, and I've been successful at everything I put my mind to. Once you add up that evidence, it's going to be really difficult to find truth in that gremlin. It's just shrinking it. Okay? So awareness and action is the key. You can't do anything about what you're not aware of. And it's not enough to just think differently and say, okay, I get it. But you have to take new action. That behavior is what redirects the neurons that have fired on that path for so long. It disrupts them and it can reinforce a new thought. If you want a different outcome, you've got to do something different. And if you stretch out of your comfort zone now, it's going to be so much easier to stretch for other challenges. Okay. And another key part of this is release. Oftentimes we hold on to everything that's happened to us and we let it define us. We dwell on it. It takes us captive. It becomes our fear net. It's time to release that. And how do you want to do that? One could be writing a letter. If it's a person or if it's an event, it could be anything. But sit down and write it a letter and express how you feel and what you want to be different now and how you're fully intending to let it go. This will help you process and move on from that if you can truly just express everything in that letter. And then there's the rip and burn. And I have totally done this before, where you're writing down these pieces from across life or from one experience. You're writing them down on little pieces of paper. You're ripping these little squares up, and everything that you're saying you want to let go of, you're putting in a pan, a bucket, and of course safely burning that. And it's the symbolism of letting that go, disintegrating it. So you know what? You released it and it's gone. And that's so powerful. Okay. And that leads me to introduce our day 1 challenge. And you will find that in the email that I sent out. You just click on that worksheet. And it's an activity called What Do I Need to Let Go Of? And it's got a fun little story about 2 Buddhist monks in it. Okay, and one thing I want to leave you with here is a piece of music that can help you with this releasing the past and moving past what's happened and being in the space to create something new. Now, yes, this is a Christian song. If you can be cool with that, then go for it. Listen to it. It's by 10th Avenue North, and it's called You've Been Remade. And here's just a sample of what that lyric is. But don't you know who you are? You are more than the choices that you've made. You are more than the sum of your past mistakes. You are more than the problems you create. You've been remade. And you can listen to that. You can search for it on YouTube and listen to the whole song. And I've had clients listen to this and it's been really helpful, especially paired with during or after they've done the rip and burn activity or journal things out. It's been really, really helpful. Okay. So that's what I have for you today. That is our day 1 lesson. Do that challenge worksheet and then I'll catch you tomorrow in day 2. Thank you.